Hi, my name is Zach Zubich and welcome to VLN. Today on VLN, we're going to be talking about hopeful for the homeless. The homeless community in our country is growing, and it's very sad to see. And it will show you a video of we followed a young man, and we want to show you what their family's hoping for, what they are hoping for. Because just because they're homeless doesn't mean they're hopeless. So, as we look around the world, we see a lot of stuff: cars, our cell phones, clothing, shoes, stores, all that kind of stuff. So where did we get all this stuff, and what are we supposed to do with it? Just because we have things doesn't mean we earned them. God gave us the earth. God gave this earth our gift from Him. He told Adam and Eve that everything in creation is given to them for their use. This is true today. The world and all of its creation is ours, given to us by God. We have the right to property, and every good government works to ensure that this is possible. What is also true is that we must not forget the property is not merely for our individual good, but is for the benefit of all humanity. This means that we possess some things that can help another. What do we do to help others? Do we give monetarily? Do we give in time? Do we give in prayer? Do we give in anything? Because even our homeless brothers and sisters, they're still our brothers and sisters. Doesn't mean we should look at them differently. We are told by God, by Jesus, to love everyone as you would want to be loved. And that includes the homeless. That includes people that aren't as well off as us. Wherever we live, we come in contact with this. This is not just a isolated thing in LA or New York or in Seattle or wherever. This is all throughout the country. What is our job in the face of truth of this world? Many of us will grow up to become husbands and wives, and we will raise beautiful families. And our kids are entrusting us. They don't even know whenever we do have kids, they're entrusting us for education and a house over their heads. There we can foster the attitude for love. Everything starts at home. If you show love to your family will show love to others. If you're shown love, you will show love to others. It's a cycle. So what do we do? How do we write a check payable to Jesus? How do we write a check where we can do something, make a change? But do you remember what Jesus said in the gospel? Christ is present in everyone, especially in those who are in need of the means of life. In our providing for them, in our sharing of the goodness of God, we have been given through our ability to work and in our talents. Giving back is not all about giving cash, giving money. Sometimes it's giving up our talents. I have a friend who's a hairdresser who goes down and cuts people who are homeless' hair. I have friends who do this thing called the Burrito Project, where they make 1,000 burritos in a night and go through Skid Row and hand deliver them. You don't have to pay. Sometimes it's just sacrificing your time. That's all tithing is a sacrifice. I'm going to share you a story of Scooter and his family. Know that we are loved, we are wanted, we are desired, and so are they. So are people that are homeless, are less fortunate. So watch this story, and I'll be back with you in a second.
It seemed like it was a pretty depressing place, filled with garbage and junk. But he doesn't consider himself homeless. He considers himself camping out.
I've always had this daydream that there would be a reality show that would take homeless people and fix them up with everything that they need to then bring them back out into the world. I don't know how people that want to change their life make that first step.
I'm 42 and I've lived in this spot here for I think it's going on 6 years now. I wake up whenever I wake up, and then I get up and I get dressed and then start my day. It's hard to shower and things like that here, but I do have water and a shower bag and a little swimming pool. I make sure I wash my hair all the time because I'm not going to let that go while I'm out here. However I can that day get by or survive is when I wake up and decide, okay, this is what I'm going to do. Yeah, sometimes it can get kind of dreary down here. Sometimes there's not a whole lot of joy in a whole lot of people's lives down here. At one point, I had a tent inside the little tent inside the big tent because the rats kept chewing holes in this and kind of trying to get in there. And so I was staying in a little tent. It was like my shark cage. A lot of my friends dumpster dive and come up with stuff all the time and things like this. And it's still got the tagging inside, and it says $1,000 at Nordstrom's. Of course, that tag is probably about 10 years old. But I don't know where to get rid of this except for maybe online. I've got dumpsters that I do go into all the time, like Bikes is a bike dumpster for the bike store. Every time I do, I always find something worth something. This is a $1,200 rim. But I keep it looking muddy like this because then nobody wants to steal it. Being able to have running water and power is probably the thing I miss most. Things that gets difficult out here. And one day, I guess the gardener found it. They cut my hose and threw it across the fence. I feel like my body's been beat up and abused. I've got a torn ACL and a fractured left wrist, which bother me on a daily basis. But more than that, I've never taken very good care of my teeth even as a child. I think it was something I did because they told me I had to do it, and I decided I didn't want to do it because they told me I had to do it. I don't know why I didn't like to take care of my teeth, but now it's become a real problem, and I've got cavities everywhere and falling out, and toothaches are the worst pain in the world. I'm shot, stabbed, and everything else, and there's nothing like a toothache. Doing odd jobs here and there is what I can spend on food. There's also a soup kitchen that feeds on Tuesdays and Wednesdays, but I always get an extra plate for somebody else who might not have made it or somebody who's hungry. I've always got people coming that are hungry.
Look at all these fish we caught. I caught 5. I caught 3.
Did you have fun?
Yeah. Yes, we did.
All right.
We're gonna make it out. We're gonna have a lot of good supper.
I think he was happy for the most part, happy kid. He enjoyed being outside, he enjoyed sports, and being on vacation, fishing, and him catching big trout and holding it up for everybody to see.
I am the second oldest. We were with each other all the time. Vacations, going to the cabin, just exploring, climbing trees, being kids, Funny games that we used to play at home. Him pinning me down and farting on my face.
My name's Scooter. What are you gonna do for us today? Whatever I do.
He seemed easy to get along with and fun to be around.
I should have known.
I have 5 children, blessed with 3 boys and 2 girls. He was the oldest, and so we had him babysitting at a young age, and he seemed to be pretty self-sufficient. He had a heart for people. He was very loving, towards his grandparents.
He's definitely a people person, and people liked him. Everybody liked him. There was an incident right out of high school where he didn't come home, and he ended up sleeping in a schoolyard near a fence with a friend of his because they were on methamphetamine. That was the time when I started to be concerned about who he was hanging with and what he was doing.
He was having a hard time with relationships. He'd live with people, and they'd kick him out because his drugs or drinking would cause problems.
We invited him here, but he was obviously still doing drugs. We had to ask him to leave.
And I remember going into our spare bedroom and getting on the phone with you and just crying, like, how could this be? How is it that our brother is homeless? It even feels strange for me to say it out loud, like our brother is homeless. That's very strange.
I have a drug and alcohol problem, and it definitely has a grip on your situation. Drugs are usually a way to hide something, hide behind something, or mask something or a way you're feeling. So if drugs weren't accessible or were non-existent, I definitely believe that would make it a lot easier for people to get into their own head and work things out the way that things need to be worked out, which would be what would really solve problems.
He used to be the one who would always ask how you are and ask people about their lives. He doesn't anymore because I don't think he wants them asking, how's your life, you know?
Eventually, when people would ask about him, I would tell them, you know, that I have a son who's homeless, and he calls it camping out.
So personally, I've found that I can get by enough just doing what I'm doing at the moment. I didn't grow up in a situation with a family life that was strenuous or rough on me. My family's always supported me and loved me in my situation no matter what. And I just want them to know that I love and appreciate that.
Even homeless last year for Mother's Day, he didn't have anything to give me, but he found some flowers and he pressed them and he made sure I had them.
My mother had a birthday just recently, and I wasn't able to call her until about 9:30 when I decided I better use the payphone to tell her happy birthday, but she wasn't able to pick up the phone. I was like, oh, I didn't even get to actually hear her voice or talk to her on her birthday. You know, just things like that can kind of make things hard. If you've been down here in any kind of part of activity or anything, then you know that these are real human beings and people that need things, and there's a lot of people that are just trying to survive and get by down here.
I don't know what it's going to take. I mean, he could come back home anytime if we knew he was free from drugs. Every night when my head hits the pillow, his face comes into my mind. Like, oh my gosh, he's out there. It's a cold night. It's a rainy night. It's been a hot day. I just, go to sleep praying for him every night. 42 is not too late. No age is too late.
I don't know how people that want to change their life make that first step, but to me, it seems like a pretty daunting thing to take on.
My hope for all my children is that they would have a life filled with meaning and love and joy. It begins now, lasts forever, and can't be taken away. I love my son, and I pray for him every day.
Sometimes I feel like I wish I could rewind time to when he was just like that sweet, innocent boy. And then just like start over for him so that his life could be on a different path.
Hi, today is April 22nd, and it's my sister's birthday, and I lost my tooth.
Where in your mouth did you lose it from?
Right here. And this is my tooth.
Is the degree of wealth how worthy we are? Is the idea of wealth, monetary wealth, all we live for? No. At times it's tough because we feel like these things make us happy. But like I said in a couple videos, again, Hope versus Joy, happiness is fleeting, joy is everlasting. I want to tell you a story about when I was in high school, at my last previous job, when I was working for another church as a youth minister. I got introduced to Burrito Project through them. They've been doing it every year. And the joy of the faces of seeing people receive something and just have it, and just knowing that it's theirs and that they're not going to be hungry tonight, that brings joy. Buying the new video game, buying the new Tony Hawk, which I have because I grew up on that game. I see it's only happy for me for an hour. I don't go, oh, remember when I was playing Tony Hawk? I do as a kid, but not as an adult. Happiness is fleeting. Joy is everlasting. Joy is seeing the smile on a homeless man's face when you give them some food and they have hope. They have hope in humanity because people are giving. Materialistic things aren't everything. When we die, we don't get to take those mere material things with us. What we get to take is memories and the joy the joy that we have here on earth. And then everlasting joy in heaven. So many times in life we put people on pedestals. We put people below pedestals. We think homeless as not as equal sometimes. But they're just like us. They have times of happiness, times of sadness, times of joy, times of just devastation. And a lot has to do with mental health in our country. I'm not going to get into that, but we need to find the source of goodness, the source that could help these people get out of the situations that they're in, because they hope to get out one day. Their families hope for them to come back one day. And hope is what drives us. Having hope is essential for us to live. Because if we have no hope for life, then we have no hope for anything. I want you guys to take this week and think about what kind of sacrifices you could make for others. I want you to take time to see how you can give back. And I want you to write it on a Post-it note or a piece of paper or a note and post it. That's how movements are started. Saying, I am going to do this, and whoever wants to join me can. Inclusion, not separation. Know that you are all loved, wanted, and desired by Christ. Christ wants a relationship with you. It's up to you to let him in. That is all for this week of VLN. Hope to see you next week, and check out our Bible studies at 6:15, posted every Thursday at 6:15 p.m. They're bite-sized Bible studies which help us, where I take one of the readings, I break it down to something simple and something where we could understand it better and how it relates to our daily lives and how it related to my life when I was in high school. You are loved. I want you to know that. And let me just reiterate the challenge. Challenge is to take a picture of what you can do to help, what you want to do to provide hope. Again, my name is Zach Zuvich, and this is VLN. Know you are loved, wanted, and desired. God bless. Amen.